teaching. The first we're going to recite the prayer. Your body is created from a billions perfect factors of goodness. Your speech satisfies the yearning of countless sentient beings. Your mind perceives all objects of knowledge exactly as they are. I bow my head to you, O chief of Shaita clan. You are the most excellent sons of such peerless teacher. You carry the burden of the inordinate activities of all conquerors, and in countless realms you engage in ecstatic display of emanations. I pay homage to you, O Maitreya and Manjushri. So difficult to phantoms is the mother of all conquerors. You who unravel its contents as it is are the jewels of the world. You are held with great fame in all three spaces of the world. I pay homage to you, O Nagarjuna and Asanga. Stemming from these two great charities with excellence, you are the two parts of the profound view and vast conduct. You are the constituent of the treasury of instructions encompassing all essential points of these parts without error. I pay homage to you, O Dibankara. You are the eyes to see all the myriad collections of scriptures. To the fortunate ones traveling to freedom, you illuminate the excellent path. You do this through skillful deeds straight forth by compassion. I pay respectful homage to you, all my spiritual mentors. I bow down to the mother of the conquerors of the three times, the profession of wisdom inexpressible by words or thoughts, which is unproduced and unceased like the entity of the sky, the object of the wisdom of unique knowledge. Dayatha kate kate parasamgate puti soha. Dayatha kate parasamgate puti soha. Dayatha kate parasamgate puti soha. May all negative forces opposed to Dharma be completely pacified. May the host of 80,000 obstacles be pacified. May we be separated from problems and harmful conditions to Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, and may there be auspiciousness and perfect happiness here right now. By the knower of all, hearers seeking pacifications are lead to peace. By the knower of path, those benefiting getting beings accomplish the welfare of the world. By the perfect possession of it, the subduer teach the verities possessing all aspects. To these mothers of the Buddhas, together with a host of hearers and bodhisattvas, homage. He who taught dependent origination, no cessation and no origination, no inhalation and no permanence, no coming and no going, neither difference, no same, through coming of conceptual elaborations to you, who is supreme speaker among all fully enlightened Buddhas, I pay homage. Mandala offerings. Oi sai chi pi ki, oi shi ai me ai to, tama ri ra va lin shi, ni ai de ai ge ai pa ti, sa ye shi tu, me de wa ji, do Gui Nam Xing La Zhe Pa Sho Yidam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaniyataya Me. Taking refuge and bodhicitta. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the accumulation I create through listen to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the accumulations I create through listening to the Dharma or teaching to the Dharma, may I become Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the accumulation I create through teaching to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. And two is by great compassion, you taught the immaculate Dharma to dispel the perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I make prostration. Namo alhaye ke da lo da ne jen ke to bon da mi ke nam da do kun je ta nam che samba tam je ke to ta ki chue de to ranja sung ra kun la ta ye mi ke san ta ba de be chung cho ze we chung ye ta ke ze bai se ze shin yin nam la ku be tu. I think we are stanza 34, right? 34, okay. First in Tibetan. 34 or 35, I think 35, right? 35. Yeah, 34 we finished. I think 35. Sejik samde tsamla korwai tsawa chube nyuba matungshi. Shine lambda tebe shiraki jitsam cheja nimo mitokpe. Yelo puta chube shirate yume shine tala gyune ni. Hadi ume rikbe tsunuki tazin mikte tamche jikchepe. Stishi chube yangbe shiraki dini tobe lojo gebar tsu. Nejur nyeja nyamlin tetar ki tardo kejan deshin jangtse los. I think the three stanza. In a mere one-pointed concentration, I fail to see the potency to cut the root of cyclic existence. Yet, with wisdom, devote of the path of tranquil abiding, no matter how much you may probe, the afflictions will not be overcome. Then 36, so this wisdom decisively penetrating the true mode of being, the learned ones settle it astrate, right? Astrate, the horse of unwaveringly calm abiding, and the sharp weapon of reasoning of the middle way free of extremes, they dismantle all locus of objectification of mind grasping at extremes. Then 37, with such expensive wisdom that probes with precisions, the learned ones enhance the wisdom realizing the suchness. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So these three stanzas, 35, 36, 37, what is showing is the benefit of practicing shamatha and Vipassana meditation are combined, or maybe the necessity of meditating on the union of shamatha and vipassana, right? The necessity of meditating on union of shamatha and vipassana. So just shamatha alone is not enough. Just vipassana alone is not enough. We have to apply both the union of shamatha and vipassana in order to, achieve Buddhahood. Another word is in order to overcome all your mental afflictions. That's why the first year say, in a mere one-pointed concentration, I fail to see the potency to cut the root of the cycle existence. So just merely one-pointed concentration, which is shamatha, right? Just shamatha alone, concentration alone, it's not enough. I fail to see the potency to cut. Just shamatha alone, you cannot able to cut the cycle existence, means samsara, which means shamatha meditation alone will not going to able to cut your mind of ego grasping, right? Root of cycle existence. What is the root? It's the mind of ego grasping, right? The ignorance. So shamatha alone will not going to able to cut. That's why I say I fail to see the potency, the power to cut the root of cycle existence, which is mind of ego grasping, right? So shamatha, I mentioned last time, is not unique Buddhist practice. Even this is what you call common practice of Buddhist and non-Buddhist both. That's why just shamatha alone is, not enough power to cut mind of ego grasping. Yet, with wisdom devoid of the devoid of the path of tranquil guiding, which means the wisdom which is without shamatha, tranquil, right? Tranquil biting, this karma biting, shamatha, right? So wisdom of emptiness without shamatha, no matter how much one may probe, right, investigate, the affliction will not be overcome. You cannot cut your affliction. So wisdom of emptiness, the vipassana alone, without assistance of shamatha, you cannot overcome your mental afflictions. So I mentioned, wisdom of emptiness is like a very sharp sword. Just having sharp sword alone, you cannot cut these big trees. The person who's going to cut this big tree, person also need to be strong. So strong guy using the strong, like a sharp sword, both together, then you can cut, right? The big trees. So just leave the sword alone, you cannot cut. You need the person there to cut these things. So without shamatha, wisdom of emptiness is not strong enough. So need kind of the strong, stable, that shamatha helps. Therefore, without wisdom, shamatha alone, you cannot able to cut your mind of ego grasping, which is the root of samsara. Without shamatha, just wisdom of emptiness alone, also how much one may prove, the affliction will not be overcome. You cannot cut your mental afflictions. So this wisdom decisively penetrating the true mode of being. So this wisdom decisively penetrating the true mode of being, which is wisdom of emptiness, right? Wisdom of emptiness, wisdom who understanding the ultimate truth, the vipassana. The learned ones settle it straight, right? Straight, right? Straight. The horse of unwavering, calm abiding, And so wisdom of emptiness, right? So wisdom of emptiness, the learned ones, right? The learned ones, so the practitioner, the bodhisattvas, right? Who has wisdom of emptiness, who has a vipassana on emptiness, settle it astray the horse of unwaveringly karma abiding. So it's riding on the horse, which is like a karma abiding, shamatha, right? Shamatha. So the person who, the bodhisattva who has a wisdom of emptiness with, with the shamatha, now, unwavering karma abiding. Shamatha is like a horse. And with the sharp weapon of reasoning of the middle way, free of extremes, they dismantle all locus of objectification of the mind of grasping at extremes. So, simple thing is, wisdom of emptiness with the shamatha, right? The union of karma abiding and vipassana, right? That these power with a sharp weapon of reasoning of middle way free of extremes. This is wisdom of emptiness. With shamatha, assistance of shamatha, they dismantle all focus of objectification, right? All the objects of the mind grasping at extremes. So the mind of ego grasping, right? Mind grasping at extremes, which is mind of ego grasping, you can completely dismantling. You can all the mind of ego grasping, you can able to combat the union of shamatha and vipassana, right? Just shamatha alone, not enough. Just vipassana, not. You have to have both union of shamatha and vipassana can dismantling all the mind of ego graspings. With such expensive wisdom that probes with precisions, the learned ones enhance the wisdom realizing the suchness. So with such so that is why with such expensive wisdom that proves with precisions, the learned ones enhance the wisdom realizing the suchness. So that is why the wisdom of emptiness, which is, based on shamatha, the learned ones, the bodhisattvas, enhance this kind of wisdom, who realizing the suchness, who realizing the emptiness. I, a yogi, have practicing in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So these three strands are mainly talking about shamatha without vipassana will not enough to cut the mind of ego grasping, mental affliction. Vipassana without shamatha also not enough power to overcome all the mental afflictions. That is why, as the strong person who need to ride on the horse to get there, similarly, the wisdom of emptiness who ride on the karma abiding, shamatha, right? Use both. The union of shamatha and vipassana on emptiness is the one who can able to overcome all your mental affliction. Another word is this two, the union of shamatha and karma abiding will help you, liberate from samsara, will help you overcome all your mental affliction. That is why all the bodhisattvas, the practitioners who not only, uh, achieving shamatha, not only vipassana, they also use both, union of shamatha and vipassana, right? Who recognizing the emptiness. And through that, they can able to achieve liberation. That's why the yogis, the Lama Tsongkhapa himself, practicing, in this manner, both, and you who aspire the liberation too should do likewise. You can do also both, shamatha and vipassana, both, not just only one. So these three stanzas is showing the necessity of meditating on union of shamatha and vipassana, right? Necessity. Or the benefits of practicing shamatha and vipassana and meditation combined, not just only one. Then the next stanza 38. Mebar chitse tsuishi cheba yi, soso toba yi jan yinlug la, yume shinto tembar neba yi. Tingzin kebar tonen shi la ni, sungde tubla tsuenam yatsen no, nyechor nyecha nyamne tedar ki tarkyo kejang teshin jangtse los. Stanza 38, it's called What Need Is There, say the true one, say that through one-pointed cultivation, absorption is realize it. Through discriminative awarenesses, probing with precision as well, one can abide unwaveringly and utterly stable upon the truth mode of beings. So, suishi cheba yi soso toba yi neba is. Stanza 9 to 39. Wonders those who see this and strive for the union of abiding and insight. Abiding is the shamatha and insight is the vipassana. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So 38 and 39 is the actual method of practicing shamatha and vipassana together, right? The before one is the benefit of union of shamatha and vipassana. Now these two stanzas is actual method of the practicing shamatha vipassana, the union of shamatha and vipassana. So what need is there, say that through one-pointed cultivation, absorption is realized. Which means, of course, right? Of course, you have to have shamatha. You have to have one-pointed, cultivation, like a one-pointed concentration. So what need is there, say that through one-pointed cultivation, absorption is realized. So of course, you have to have this through discriminative awareness. So through the discriminative awareness, which is, what you call analytical meditation, to discriminative awareness, the analytical awareness, who analyzing, right? So through discriminative awareness, probing with precision as well, one can abide unwaveringly. So probing with precision as well, one can abide unwaveringly and utterly stable upon the true mode of beings. So you can remain, what that means, like for instance, if you're cognizing awareness emptiness, right? First, your mind should be fully aware on awareness, right? When we talk about what you call paramita tradition of the Mahamudra, right? The Paramita tradition of Mahamudra, we're practicing shamatha and vipassana. The shamatha here, the object is awareness. So you should be aware, your awareness, right? Your mind is fully concentrate on awareness and unwavering remain on awareness, and one part of mind investigating, analyzing that awareness exists independently, inherently, right? That awareness will exist objectively or not. So that's called the discriminative awareness, who analyzing without disturbing your concentration. So your mind is remain on awareness, the object awareness, solid, single pointed, here say unwavering, right? And upon there, the wisdom who's analyzing, do that awareness exist independently or not, without disturbing. So finally, you're cognizing or you are focusing on awareness, but that awareness is also empty of inherent existence. So that what you call the vipassana, right? The Paramita tradition of Mahamudra is cognizing ultimate reality, right, of your awareness. So remain on awareness without disturbing. You're analyzing. So through when you analyze, it's still not disturbing the objects. Then eventually you're cognizing that awareness, you're focusing, that awareness itself is empty of inherent existence, right? Cognizing that awareness emptiness. So it come up writing, shamatha, single pointly, without any disturb, right? Unwaveringly remain on the object. And on there, that awareness, the object, cognizing emptiness. That's called the union of karma abiding and and vipassana, right? Shamatha and vipassana. So it is usually they use the example when you put the fish in the fish tank, right? The fish tank, you put the fish and the down in the water, the fish can move everywhere. He's running here, there, whatever he's moving, the top of the water never moving. It's remain very calm, right? It's unwavering, nothing any moving, but the bottom of the fish tank, the fish are moving, running up and down without any disturbing, right? The top of the waters, like that, without any disturbing, the object of your meditation, even awareness or whatever object, then the wisdom who's analyzing. Finally, that wisdom who cognizing, ultimate reality of that object without any disturbing to the objects. That's called union of shamatha and vipassana, right? Wonders are those who see this. Wonders, right? Wonders is what you call, it's marvelous, right? It's the great now. So having that kind of, union of shamatha and vipassana in one object is kind of marvelous. Are those who see this and strive for union of abiding and insight. So who understanding this, what you call the union of shamatha and vipassana, how important this practice, right? Who are feel like a marvelous, means who really have some kind of strong, the joy, will to study this, to have these things. Right? Wonders are those who see this and strive. That's how they put effort for the union of abiding and insight. Abiding is shamatha, insight is vipassana, right? Wisdom of emptiness. So therefore, the person who understanding what you call the power of union of karma abiding and vipassana, then they feel like they know what is the benefit. That's what they see. This is kind of wonders. This is marvelous. Who understanding the power of this, union of shamatha and vipassana. That's why they put effort, strive for the union of abiding and insight. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So this is I mentioned earlier, the actual method of practicing shamatha and vipassana together. Then the next, nyamsha naka tabi tongba tongni tang, jetop juma tabi tongba ni, gomne tapshi sungdu dewa yi, gese chebe pari, draw nga. Tetara tohne chori lamki ni, simba meba kesan namki lup, nejo neja nyamne tetara ki, tarto kejang tishin jangtse los. So now, next is how to meditate on the union of methods and wisdom, right? Before union of samatha and vipassana. Now here, talking about how to meditate on the union of method and wisdom, or so it's, or maybe it is important, it is very important to meditate on union of methods and wisdom both, not only wisdom, not only methods. We have to go both practice right here. So the space like emptiness of meditative equipoise and the illusion like emptiness of the subsequent realizations, praised are those who cultivate them and bind together the method and wisdom and travel beyond the Bodhisattva's deeds. It's the way of the fortunate ones to realize these and not to be contained with partial paths. I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So the space like emptiness of meditative equipoise, when you reach the seeing path, meditation path, they have subdivision. So meditative equipoise and the post meditations. So meditative equipoise means you are meditating on emptiness. In that moment, you're cognizing emptiness directly, right? You're experiencing emptiness directly. At that moment, you cannot see anything, right? You cannot teach, you cannot do the generosity practice, effort, anything, right? When you are realizing emptiness directly. But that time, what they're doing is the space-like emptiness of meditative equipoise. So when you are stage of the meditative equipoise, for your mind, the object is only emptiness, nothing else, right? The object is only emptiness, nothing else. That's why it's called like space-like emptiness. There's no any conventional phenomena there. It's only ultimate. So that's why it's like a space. There's nothing, anything, right? In your mind, there's nothing, any conventional phenomena. That's why I call it space-like emptiness. When you are stage of meditation equipoise, right? In that time, your mind is just only on emptiness. So it's like a space. There's nothing, any conventional phenomena there. So that's called the space-like emptiness of meditative equipoise. and the illusion like emptiness of the subsequent realization. Subsequent realization is, it means post meditation. So when you wake up from the meditated equipoise, right? When you wake up, then in your mind, you can appear all the conventional phenomena, right? Conventional phenomena will appear when you are at the stage of post meditation. So when the conventional phenomena appear like a flower, when they appear, it's very different like before. Before, when we see flower, something solid there, right? Now, flowers, they appear, it appear like something there, but you know this flower is not exist independently. Still appearing through your mind is something appear solid, absolute independently. But mentally, you know it's not true that. That's called, and the illusion like an emptiness. Every phenomena for you like an illusion. What appear is not exist that way. That's how you see, right? That's called illusion like emptiness of the subsequent realization, post meditation. Because of before, when you are stage of meditated equipoise, you're fully concentrated emptiness, you're realizing emptiness nakedly, and that moment, your mind is only on emptiness, nothing else. That's why it's like a space. When you wake up from that stage, post meditation, then you see all the conventional phenomena. When they appear because of the previous, the wisdom of emptiness helps you deep of your heart, it's there, influence is there. That's why even the conventional phenomena appears something like solid there, but actually it is not true. It's all for you. Every conventional phenomena are like an illusion, right? It's illusion. It appear independently, inherently, but reality is not, right? That's called the illusion like emptiness. Praised those who cultivate them and bind together the method and wisdom and travel beyond the bodhisattva's deeds. So when you are in the post meditation, what they're going to do, your mind is not only on emptiness, right? In conventional. When you are stage of the post meditation, you're practicing generosity, right? Effort, patience, right? All the rest of the paramitas you're practicing. So that's how it's called method and wisdom and travel beyond the bodhisattva's deeds. So when you are stage of the meditated equipoise, you cannot practice others, generosity and so forth, because in your mind, it's like a space. It's just only emptiness, nothing else, right? You cannot teach, you cannot generous, you cannot benefit to go there to nothing. Conventional practice like a generosity, effort, patience, these things, nothing else. It's just emptiness, right? Only when you wake up from there, post meditation stages, then you can teach, you can benefit, you can help all the rest of the perfections. The what you call among the six perfection, and except the perfection of wisdom, rest of the other you can apply, you can practice. So that is why the method and the wisdom together, combination, right? Union of method and wisdom, then you can travel beyond the bodhisattva's deeds, right? The bodhisattva's deeds, which are the six paramitas, right? Six perfections are the bodhisattva's deeds. So method and wisdom. So six paramitas you should include into method and wisdom. Wisdom is wisdom of emptiness. Rest of all of five are the methods, practice. So you combine both practice. And then, beyond, that's how you should travel the bodhisattva's deeds to go to enlightenment Buddhahood. That kind of practice, the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are praising. Praised are those who cultivate, them and bind together. So those praised by whom? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas praise to the Bodhisattvas who cultivating them and bind together. Cultivate them what? Method aspect of the practice, wisdom aspect of the practice, both, right? Practice cultivating them and bind together, right? Combine these both, not only method side, not only wisdom side. That is why when you look at into the what you call seeing path and meditation paths, so meditation paths, the subdivision, what you call the meditating equipoise and post meditations, right? Then you have to go meditate equipoise, post meditation. There are 3-4 subdivision. They're going what you call combine these things one after one, right? They're going like that. So because of the practice, when they do both wisdom side of the practice, which is meditative equipoise in the stage that, and rest of the other methods, generosity and practice, so forth, etc., they apply in post meditations, right? They apply those practice. So combine these both, that's why the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas praise to them, those who cultivating them and bind together the method and wisdom, and they travel beyond the Bodhisattva's deeds. It's the way of the fortunate ones who realize this and not to be contained the partial parts. So it is the way of fortunate ones, right, who realizing, who understanding this, and who understanding this, what is this? Combination, union of method and wisdom, both need, not only method, not only wisdom, you need both in order to achieve, in order to travel, right, to the Buddhahood, you need both. So that's why it's called to realizing this and not to be contained with partial parts. So not be contained with just, oh, I know wisdom, emptiness. So not just contain only wisdom of emptiness, not just enough bodhicitta alone. You have to go both, not the partial parts. Partial parts, which means either only wisdom, either only methods, right? Not only that. So you shouldn't, or not to be contained with partial wisdom or methods. You have to go both, right? Therefore, understanding who knows, who really understanding in order to achieve Buddhahood, you need both things, both wisdom parts, method parts. That's called the fortunate ones, right? That's called, so it's the way of the fortunate one, fortunate who knows need this both practice, who practicing both and applying wisdom and method both. Another word is who practicing all the 6 paramitas, not only one partial, all the 6 paramitas. So realizing this and not to be contained with partial parts, I, a yogi, have practiced in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should do likewise. So you have to understanding like need all of these combination, not just go to the partial, only one side. So Lama Tsongkhapa himself, practicing all this manner, applying all of these 6 parameters, you who aspire for liberation too should do like this. So finally, this is the conclusion part of that. Means from, Lamrim, you started from the Guru devotion to all the way to the profession of wisdom, right? The wisdom side. So whole practice we need to do, not just only take one only, just only renunciation, just only bodhicitta, not enough. Go all the way, practice. So finally, when you achieve each of them, right? Finally, then when you achieve the wisdom of emptiness, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, you achieve the first. When you achieve the bodhicitta, you achieve accumulation path, right? Accumulation path. When you achieve the bodhicitta, then accumulation path, you practice, because what you need to do, you need to cut the mind of ego grasping, right? You need to overcome mental afflictions. In order to overcome, you need to cut the mind of ego grasping. In order to cut the mind of ego grasping, you have to have wisdom of emptiness, right? Wisdom of emptiness alone, not enough. Wisdom of emptiness should ride on the horse, strong horse, which is shamatha, karma biting. Without having horse, you will not going to get there. You will not going to enough to cut. So that's why you need to cultivate the shamatha. So you meditate on shamatha. Finally, you achieve the shamatha, right? Then after that, you meditate on emptiness, right? So that is how finally, when you achieve the union of shamatha and wisdom of emptiness, of shamatha and wisdom of emptiness, which is the vipassana, right? Union of shamatha and vipassana, when you achieve it, you jump to the preparation path, right? You achieve the preparation path. Then you cognizing emptiness conceptually, not directly. So you're constantly meditating. Eventually, you experience emptiness nakedly, directly. When you see emptiness directly, you jump into seeing path, right? Number 3, seeing path. Then, now when you after seeing path, now you need to seeing path, you have what you call the wisdom of emptiness, which is very powerful. You experience emptiness directly. Now you need to cut the mind of ego grasping. So in order to cut the mind of ego grasping has many layers, right? Gross to subtle, 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 subtle. So that is why when you first able to antidote to the one of the grosser level of innate mind of ego grasping, when you're able to antidote that, you jump into meditation paths, right? Called innate mind of ego grasping. So when you're able to antidote to that, you jump into meditation path. So when you antidote that moment, what kind of path you have is called the meditated equipoise, right? When you are cognizing emptiness directly, experiencing directly. So in that moment, it's called like a sky like emptiness, like a space like emptiness, no any conventional, right? Then you antidote. Finally, you eliminate the grosser level of innate mind of ego grasping. You eliminate, right? You are still meditated equipoise. After you eliminate completely, then you wake up, called post meditation, right? So when you on the stage of the post meditation, then what you're doing, you in your mind, you can see the conventional phenomena. You can teach, you can what you call benefit to other, practice generosity, efforts, or any other patience and so forth, right? You're practicing this to accumulate merits and virtues. So when you on post meditation stages, you're practicing rest of the 6 parameters, except wisdom of emptiness, the parameter of wisdom, right? Rest of other 5 parameters, you apply, you're practicing, right? Then you're going back to the post meditation to antidote to the, you know, like a second gross level of innate mind of ego grasping. Then you cut it. When you completely eliminate it, you wake up from there. Then you another, like a rest of the 5 parameters, the method aspect of the parameters, the practice of going combined. That's how you go higher, called 10 bhumis, right? 10 different stages of the meditation path. So that's only wisdom, not enough. So you have to go both. So that's why it's called combination. Combine the method and wisdom both. The reason is, finally, when we achieve the Buddhahood, it's called, there's 2 things: enlightened body, rupakaya, enlightened mind, dharmakayas, right? As a human beings, ordinary, we have a body and we have a mind. These 2 things, right? Same, the method aspect of the practice are becoming unique causes of enlightened bodies, right? Wisdom aspect of the practice, wisdom of emptiness, are becoming unique causes of enlightened mind. So you have to go both. One alone is not enough, because finally enlightenment, Buddhahood, is the union of enlightened body and minds, right? That's called the enlightenment, right? Buddhahood. It's a union of body, enlightened body and mind. So in order to reach that way, you have to go both, the causes, method aspect of the practice, which are the causes of enlightened bodies, wisdom aspect of the practice, which are the unique causes of enlightened minds. That's why you have to have both of them, right, to apply to achieve the enlightenments. So finally, when you what you call the understanding of all this, finally 6 parameters, right? 6 parameters. Then here the next stanza is talking about stanza 42, right? Stanza 42, right? That judan debi teaching lamcho nigal gobe tumulam jishi chambe kebe debenki gwenla tene jute jasor chir. shune yongso menga tempa ti techo toba tenda tempa che nejo nije namnen tedar ki tajo ki ja deshi changse los. So now this is called how to train in unique vehicle, Vajrayana. So now after that, after finish this 6 parameters, whole Lamrim, from Guru devotion to the 6 parameters. Then Lama Tsongkhapa talking here, the stanza, 42, how to train. Now you can practice the Vajrayana, how to practice the Vajrayana. Thus, having cultivated as they are the common parts, which is all this Lamrim, right? The previous teaching, all of these are common parts, essential for the 2 supreme parts of causal and the resultant great vehicle. Causal and a causal vehicle, resultant great vehicle. Causal vehicles are the Sutrayana, right? Mahayana Sutrayana is called the causal. Resultant great vehicle is the Vajrayana vehicle. So the Vajrayana. So that's why essential. Thus, having cultivated as they are the common parts, right? So all these Lamrim practice are the common part. Thus, having cultivated as they are the common part, essential for the 2 supreme parts, Vajrayana and Sutrayana, right? The Mahayana Sutrayana, Vajrayana. So supreme parts of causal and resultant great vehicles, I have entered the great oceans of Tantra by relying upon the leadership of the learned navigators. So so thus having cultivated as they are common paths, which means Vajrayana, Sutrayana, both, right? They need both these whole Lamrim previous teaching from Guru devotion to the 6 paramita, wisdom of emptiness, all of them are called common paths. Paths for the Vajrayana, for the Sutrayana, both common paths, essential for the two supreme paths of cause and resultant's great vehicle. I have entered the great oceans of Tantra. By relying upon the leadership of the learned navigators. So I'm into the Vajrayana, right? By relying on qualified master, teacher, Vajrayana teachers, right? It's called the learned navigator, leadership of the learned navigators, right? So what you call the teacher, the Vajrayana teacher, why they rely on the Vajrayana teacher? Because when you enter the Vajrayana practice, the door, like a door to enter the Vajrayana is empowerment. The empowerment. You need to receive the empowerment in order to do the Vajrayana practice. So the empowerment you have to take from the masters. To take the empowerment from the master, make sure that master is learned, who really understand, who qualify, the Vajrayana's teacher, Vajrayana master, because general master, Mahayana teacher, Vajrayana teachers are more important. That's why when you rely on the Vajrayana teachers, make sure that teacher really understand that philosophy, who really understand the Vajrayana, because it can easily what you call create mistake. Because Vajrayana usually is called, in Tibetan word, Sangha. It means secret practice. Secret practice doesn't mean you miser or you do not want to show to others. That doesn't mean that. Why it's kept secret? Because people may easily misunderstand, easily interpret in the negative side, very easily, because it's very difficult to understand. Sometimes when you look at in the Vajrayana deities, right? Just look at the deities, Tankas, you look at. So those deities, they're showing all the boobs and everything, right? In general, seeing the boobs is very embarrassing. Nobody wants to see these things, right? It's kind of but what that mean in the Vajrayana, right? So what the interpreter, the deity is not the definitive deities, right? These are the provisional. The appearance of the form is the provisional. Definitive deity is inside there, what they're representing. Each of the body, the part of the body, what they're representing, right? That's the real deity. So without knowing what they're representing and just external body, you say, oh, something, you are not qualified to practice on these deities, right? So all of this, because if you do not have proper qualified teacher, it can easily go to the mistake, wrong side, easily. That's why it's kept secreting that. Vajrayana is a very, very important practice, but if the practitioners really do not understand properly and apply these two kind of things, it can damage the Buddhism. It can damage the really Buddhism. General Buddhism will damage completely. So that is why it's keeping secret. And where you're taking the empowerment, when you're serious, make sure that master, it's something really, really qualified masters. Really qualified master, when you receive the empowerment, huge benefit. Specific, the Vajrayana is very much dependent on the master also. So it's kind of huge benefit. But disqualified, then sometimes, just as a blessing, maybe it's okay. But, when you take serious like that, like a real master like that, then it may, create it kind of completely wrong path, mistaken path. So you ended up with a strange place, not good. That's why here it is saying, first common practice, have cultivated as they are common paths, whole lamrim, specific bodhicitta, and the wisdom of emptiness is the main quality of Vajrayana practitioners. It's the main thing. Every visualization, every deity you created, it's actually your wisdom of emptiness. And wisdom of emptiness, it's what you call a manifest as a deity. Wisdom of emptiness is the manifest as the offerings. So everything's arising from wisdom of emptiness. So that's why when you do, even like simple blessing, the offering blessing, when you do, it's called Om Sabhava Shuddha Sawa Dharma Sabhava Shuddha Hang, right? You're reciting these blessing mantras. So everything is empty, right? Which means everything is empty. So without knowing that, then it is just, of course, doing these things little beneficial, but it's not become so much affected. That's why we're not achieving any of realization, because not having enough understanding emptiness, not having enough bodhicitta, right? And in order to have bodhicitta, you have to have compassion. In order to have compassion to all beings, you have to have self-compassion, renunciations. So all of these things have to go before. So that's why here Lama Tsongkhapa says, thus having cultivated as they are the common paths, the Lamrim practice, right? Essential for the two supreme parts of cause and resultant's great vehicle. So these are the essential, right? Both they need. Sutrayana, Mahayana Sutrayana, and Mahayana's Vajrayana, both. The essential is this common practice, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, are the essential. I have entered the great oceans of Tantra by relying upon the leadership of the learned navigators. So then I can enter to the Vajrayana by relying on qualified Vajrayana teachers, right? So that's how future, when you're doing practice, not hurry, wait, investigate. Sometime empowerment, you can get it from everywhere. Sometimes it's become little business. All the centers say, oh, this master giving empowerment, all of kind of things. A number of people have not knowing these things, and they just taking like that. So after you know actual real thing, then you should be carefully check. When you're taking this empowerment, then you should be serious. Learn something. Empowerment, at least, what you call Anu Yoga Tantra in general, 4 different types of the empowerment. At least, what is the vast empowerment? What is the secret empowerment? What is the word empowerment, right? And what is the secret? What is the wisdom empowerment? So for empowerment, each of empowerment has, kind of the power to cleansing each kind of defilements. Each empowerment have power to achieve each kind of Buddha's qualities, right? Body, speech, minds. So what is these are? First, little bit learn these things, right? Then when you taking the empowerment, you know what you need to visualize. Just sit on the place and just getting some torma or something little thing doesn't mean we receive the actual really empowerment, right? So these things quite important. And and through application of the quite essential instruction. So now, after you rely on qualified master, then when you study in Vajrayana, and through application of the point essential instruction, right? Where, general uh, Vajrayana, when we practicing, they have a kind of the uh, what you call point essential instruction where the masters give you, right? How to do this practice, what kind of visualization, and why this. Each detail, because rely on the master is sometimes when the master who do not have experience, then sometimes when you practicing number of these, specific the winds, like a vase, what you call the words, any little practice when you do apply for your chakras and all kind of things, you have to be really carefully, because sometimes it may hurt your body, it may create mental, uh, issues. There are many of like these kind of things. That's why you have through application of the quite essential instruction by your master, right? I have made meaningful human existence that I've obtained. So if you really proper meditation on Vajrayana, then you can make your precious human life meaningful, which means even one life you can achieve the Buddhahood, right? Vajrayana, it's also called Nurlam, quick path. So quick path means, in the Sutrayana, may takes eons of life to achieve enlightenment Buddhahood. Vajrayana, it is in even one life, even 7 lives, even 16 lives, you can achieve enlightenment Buddhahood, right? That kind of special power Vajrayana has. But to use those kind of special power, the practitioner have to be much stronger practitioner than usual other practitioners. Stronger doesn't mean physical body is stronger. The practice, rather practice when you do bodhicitta, your wisdom of emptiness need to be much stronger, much deeper. You have to have those experience. So then Vajrayana, uh, just give you little explanation in the Vajrayana. They have 4 schools, action tantra, performance tantra, yoga tantra, and anu yoga tantras, right? The 4 Vajrayana. And Tibetan, we have all of those 4 traditions are, are available in Tibetan Buddhism. Some Buddhists maybe have only action tantra's teachings available, not anu yoga. Some have performance tantra, right? So all 4 of Vajrayanas, the practice are in the Tibetan, have this all of them are available. Empowerment, teaching, ritual, practice, everything's still alive. And most of the Buddhists, even they do not have Vajrayana, majority. And Theravada tradition, of course not. Even within the Mahayana also, number of them, they don't have Vajrayana. But the Vajrayana within the 4 school, even some other country, Japan and some other, may have Vajrayana, maybe not Anu Yoga Tantra. I'm not sure. I heard about that. Action Tantra or Performance Tantra or Yoga Tantra. Anu Yoga Tantra, I think mainly in Tibet, and through the Tibetans, and then maybe Mongolian and some Himalayan regions. And then first you need to study briefly, what is action tantra, right? What is performance tantra? What is the yoga tantra? And then finally, anu yoga tantra. Anu yoga tantra is the main, action tantra, performance yoga tantra, these 3 school, 10 is called lower tantra schools. Anu yoga tantra is only the higher schools. Anu yoga tantra has generation stages and completion stages. Action, performance, and yoga tantra do not have these 2 stages. They're called the what you call They are symbolism of the generation and completion, but they do not have actual. So the generation stages is the majority, the Anu-Yoga Tantra practitioners, first they're doing the generation stages. When they're doing the generation stages, it's mainly they practice on three kayas, the path of the three kayas. Generation stages, you always need to apply, combine with the three kayas. As ordinary people, we have three different stages of the life. One is about death and dying stages of the life, right? Then the next one is Bartho, right? After the death, Bartho stages. And after the Bartho, rebirth, life, like a physical life, right? Rebirth. We're three different, our mind has kind of three different stages of the mind. Rebirth, the life is the one of the grosser mind, right? Then the Bartho is subtle compared with the life. Bartho mind is more subtle. Then dying, the dying process. Klela stage is one of the most subtlest stages of the mind, right? As ordinary beings, we're utilizing very gross level of mind, then subtle, then subtlest mind. Experiencing these not through the practice, it's just naturally our body things are changing. We naturally practicing that, experiencing three different stages of the mind. So now, Anu-Yoga Tantra take that advantages on these three different stages, apply for the part of the Sambhogakaya, right? And Dharmakaya. And next, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, right? Nirmanakaya, I think, right? Form body, right? Nirmanakaya. So general, there are two things, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, right? Dharmakaya means enlightened mind, I mentioned earlier. Rupakaya means enlightened body. I try to go with a very simple way. Rupakaya has two subdivisions. One is called Sambhogakaya. One is called Nirmanakaya, right? Among these two, Sambhogakaya body is more subtle than Nirmanakaya, right? So when we talk about three kayas, which means Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nirmanakaya, right? When we talk about the two kayas, two body, which means Rupakaya and Dharmakaya, right? That's, you have to know. Rupakaya means enlightened body, Dharmakaya means enlightened mind, right? Enlightened body has a two. One very subtle is called Sambhogakaya. In English, it's called enjoyment body or something. They use enjoyment body or something. I'm not sure what that really. Then the another one is Rupakaya is form body, right? Nirmanakaya is what they call emanation body. So emanation body. So Buddha Shakyamuni, who comes to this planet, who teach, so Buddha Shakyamuni body is Nirmanakaya, emanation body, right? And Sambhogakayas always remain on the God realms, right? It's not in the human realms. So Sambhogakaya only is utilized by Bodhisattvas, only the Arya Bodhisattvas. Within the Arya Bodhisattva, only, I think, the Bodhisattva who reached the 10th Bhumi, these are the Bodhisattva only can utilize the Sambhogakaya. So Sambhogakaya can benefit to only limited sentient beings, only those, Arya Bodhisattvas. So that is why Nirmanakaya, emanation body, like Buddha Shakyamuni, he can benefit to entire sentient beings, right? So that is why our mind also have those three stages. So dying, the dying process, which we have, the ordinary people, when we are dying, they use that opportunities, right, and convert to the path to the Dharmakaya, right? Converting to the path of the Dharmakaya. Then after the death, when you're connecting to the Barto realms, during the Barto, they utilize that kind of stages of the Barto and convert to the path of the Sambhogakaya, right? Sambhogakaya practice. Then when you connect into the rebirth, and when you take rebirth, and that ordinary rebirth practice, rebirth is converting to the practice, the path of the Nirmanakaya, emanation body. That's called three kayas practice. So in order to do these things, they yourself become a deity first, right? You become a deity, self-generation, and then you practice of these three kayas. In order to generate oneself for the deity, you need to have permission from the deities, right? Without having permission, you are not allowed to become a deities. That is why you're asking to the master to give the empowerment, right? To allow to you to become self-generations. Then after the self-generation, these called the generation stages. These are the practice of generation stages. So that before you start the three actual generation stages, before that is the preliminary practices. Taking refuge, generating bodhicitta, purification practice like a Vajrasattva mantra, and seven limb practice, a little bit different than Sutrayana, but they also have Vajrayana, kind of seven limb practice. They don't say seven limb, they use some another. In Tibetan, we call Dvinamda. I'm not sure, the seven perfect practice or something, right? So they have this practice and blessing the offerings, all kind of things there. These are the preliminary. Then after actual, when they start they start the practice of dying practice, which is Klela stages. So dying practice where there is, the mantra is very simple. Most of the dying practice in the mantra say Om Sambhava Shuddha Savadama Sambhava Shuddha Hom. Most of things that, right? You're reciting that, then you're dissolving yourself. You are deity, so you're dissolving yourself into the syllable, whatever, syllable tam, syllable free, whatever deity you, right? Dissolving that yourself into that mantra, and that mantra is also slowly dissolving and finally disappearing, right? Disappears. That's the visualization part. But this is not the only. You're visualizing, mainly you're meditating on self-emptiness, because you try to stop the external objects. So you just visualize like a space, because you completely dissolves into the mantra. Mantra finally completely disappear, like then there's nothing like a space. That space is not just ordinary space like space. No. For you, that space for you means empty of inherent existence. That's how you need to know. So to do that without first emptiness, experience on emptiness, how can you do this, right? That's why before you have to go to the Lamrim practice. It's the foundation. So then you have this experience on emptiness in the Lamrim, then here yourself visualizing completely disappear, completely like a space. That means even your mind, right? The mind, which is form of the a syllable, even that syllables disappear, means even your mind is also disappearing, right? So awareness, emptiness, right? So paramita tradition of Mahamudra, when you have that experience, then in this place is huge benefit. You can remain on that stage. So that's the dying practice. So different mantra tradition, then when they're dissolving these things, each different Anu Yoga Tantra has different way of doing this dying process. Some of them, you know, dissolving all the like for instance, as ordinary beings, we have 6 faculties, 5 consciousness, 5 aggregates, so many things in our body, right? So 32 different objects you can apply. So each of these objects of your physical body you have, it's convert means it's what you call manifest as a deities. From your eye, there's a deity nose, and all the body they're visualizing, which actually your you know faculties and your organs and all kind of things are form of the deities, right? Then each time when they dissolve, these deities dissolves into your body, then your body is dissolves into the mantra, then the mantra, the bottom part is dissolves into the middle part, the middle part is dissolved into the top part, then top part is dissolved into the half moon up there, and that moon dissolves into the nada, and finally nada. When you're doing this, there are 8 different stages. You apply the dying practice, right? In the Vajrayana, there's 8 different stages of the dying, right? Ordinary people, when we're dying with not just second, a process, dying process, right? First, earth element, water element, fire element, wind element, they're dissolving. So each of these dissolving, your mind is getting subtle, 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 right? When this mind is getting subtle, 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 when the things are dissolving to you, you have a different appearance, external, internal, all kind of things, that 8 different stages. That's you combine with your visualizing. Deities dissolve, and that's okay, my earth element is dissolved, right? Then mantra, the bottom mantra dissolves into my fire, that's how you need to combine with this. Finally, that nada completely disappeared, then play last stages, right? Your mind is very subtle, and that mind is only because it's very subtle, cannot engage to any conventional objects. Very subtle. So what they have is the mind only there. So if you have experienced mind emptiness, then in that moment, that mind can cognize in their own nature, mind emptiness, right? Remain on that stage, clear last stages. That's the most powerful, kind of the antidote attitude to your destructive emotion, because clear last stages of the mind is very subtle. It's undestructible mind, primordial mind, and it's not remain ordinary. It's cognizing emptiness, become more powerful. That's the what you call one of the purpose of doing this dying process, right? Then after that finish, then you're becoming Sambhogakaya, which means syllables or something, right? And that syllable slowly transform into the deities. The syllable is like a Sambhogakaya. And that syllable finally full form, deity, they start emanation body, right? So that's how 3 kayas you combine with this called the generation stages. Then when you have so much experience on these practice, eventually then during these practice, you're practicing to try to control your wind elements. And not, maybe I'm talking too much, maybe leave it there. So finally, when you're able to, like and a difference between generation and completion stages is through your practicing to try to use your subtle consciousness, but in order to experience that subtle consciousness, you need to open your central channel, right? Central channel. So central channel open, and you need to enter the wind elements in central channel. Right now, our central channel, we cannot utilize it. It's completely blocked, right? So through this practice, you open, then you need to enter your wind elements into central channel. Just entering central channel is not enough, right? to him. Then second, abide, right? Abide to the central channel. Enter, abide, finally dissolve into the central channel. So when your wind is dissolving into the central channel, then you can able to utilize subtle consciousness, right? When you're able to dissolves your mind into the central channel, then you reach the completion stages. Till that not, completion stage. Then completion stages has 5: illusory body, illusory speech, illusory mind, clear light stages. Within the clear light stages, example clear light stages, meaning clear light stages, right? Then union, right? Finally, the unions, you know, enlightened body and mind, the unions. So that's how this each of these practice, the Vajrayana, you know. So after you have this realization on Lamrim, and then you can go with this. When you have emptiness, then Vajrayana really you can able to do. Without emptiness experience, I think it's very, very difficult. You know, first process is to becoming self-generation. Self-generation is your wisdom of emptiness is becoming deity. So there's no emptiness, then what they become deity? This body never become a deity, right? This body I can become a deity. Everything is the mind. So that is why, go to the Lamrim strongly when you have some experience on bodhicitta and emptiness. When you go with the Vajrayana, really effective, powerful, because the Sutrayana, it's only used the gross level of consciousness. They cannot utilize the subtle consciousness. So adopting Vajrayana, specific the Anuyaga Tantra, is mainly able to utilize your subtle consciousness. Without Vajrayana, you cannot. So that is why the Vajrayana is, so needed is because of this very subtle, dealing with the subtle defilements. You have to have subtle consciousness to cognize the emptiness. So that's why the Vajrayana, specifically the Anuyoga Tantras, helps to utilize your subtle consciousness, primordial mind, right? That's why. Then finally, either yoga practice in this manner, you who aspire the liberation too should do like this. Then the stanza 44, Ranje Yila Kompar Chachitang, Kensang Shela Pember Chevich, Jawajebe Yonso Zobenam, Gole Ngaki, Kola Yangaki, Shebe Jawati, Dwakunja Nanda Lam Santam, Deme Juju Melam Dep, Nejur Yajamne Teta Tatu Chejan Dishin Changselo, Sheba Deni. So stanza 44, in order to make familiar to my own mind and to help benefit fortune others as well, I've explained here in words easy to understand. In its entirely the part that please the conquerors. Through these virtues, may all beings be never divorced from the perfectly pure, excellent path. Thus, I pray our yogi have made aspiration in this manner. You who aspire for liberation too should pray likewise. Now, this is the conclusion and dedication. So, in order to make familiar to my own mind, so this Lama Tsongkhapa saying he wrote this whole Lamrim short version of the Lamrim. One of the purposes himself, order to make familiar with all the stages of the path in his own mind, and to help to the benefit fortunate others as well. So the fortunate beings, being only who are fortunate, so who study, who read this, you are very fortunate. That's what I'm saying. Majority people have no, opportunity to learn these things. Even the Buddhists, many Buddhists actually have no idea. They don't have opportunity to learn this. That's why he say, and to help benefit fortunate one others as well. So to able to read, study, listen this teaching, definitely you have to have some karmic connection, merits in the past. Otherwise, to encounter with these heavy texts, very difficult to connect with these teachings. That's why it's called fortunate, right? Benefit to fortunate others as well. I've explained here words easy to understand, in it's entirely the part that please the conquerors. So I've explained here the word much easy, simple way to understand, right? And it's extremely the part that please the conquerors. So these practice are the what you call the excellent, unmistaken, information. That is why it can please the conquerors, right? So it makes the please the conquerors entirely the part that entirely part from the Guru devotion to all the way to the Vajrayana, right? All this excellent part that please to the conquerors, Buddhas, right? They please. Why? This is the kind of unmistaken, correct path he gives here. So that's why it's pleased the conquerors. Through these virtues, may all beings be never divorced from the perfectly pure, excellent path. So we dedicate our merits, right? Through this virtue, all sentient beings be never divorced, never separate from this perfectly pure, excellent path, right? This kind of Lamrim path, a practice which we are studying. Thus I pray, therefore I pray, I dedicate for them like this way, and I, a yogi, have made aspiration in this manner. You who aspire the liberation too should pray like that, right? Yourself practice, yourself think, I'm really fortunate to learn the Lamrim, to studying, to thinking, to meditating, and practicing. I'm very fortunate. I dedicate my merit to all my mother sentient beings can have this practice, can learn this practice. They can able to connect with these practice. So you can dedicate for them. This brief presentation of the practices of the stages of the path to enlightenment, written in the format of a memorandum, was composed by the well-read monk, the renowned Shet Lobsang Trangpa, at the great mountain retreat at Kanden and Namparkewe Ling. So English translation, Geshe Tupten Chamber, 2004, revisit 2007. So here, written by Renan Shet Lobsang Trangpa, right? That's the Lama Tsongkhapa's, his ordination name is Lobsang Trangpa, right? When he ordained, they give names called Lobsang Trangpa. So he wrote this text in Ganden Namparkewe Ling. Ganden is the main Gelugpa's first monastery, Lama Tsongkhapa's main monastery. And right now they reestablished in South India. So the Ganden is Lama Tsongkhapa is the founder of Ganden Monastery, and his disciple Jamyang Cheji is the founder of Dripu Monastery, and another his disciple Chamche Cheji is founder of Sera Monastery. So in the Gelug tradition, the three biggest monasteries. Lama Tsongkhapa is the main Ganden Monastery. So he wrote this text in the Ganden Monastery. So that's how. First, I was thinking today is the second. I have one class left. Then realizing today is the last. So I have to rush to finish these things. So somehow completely finish this text, which is one of the most important, called as the Song of Spiritual Experience, or condensed point of the stages of the path. So here just give you very briefly information. So the detail, the Lamrim Chemo, right? The Lamrim Chemo has the detail. So if you cannot able to read all these 3 volumes, then you can go to the Lamrim Ding, the medium, uh, uh, what you call the version of the Lamrim. So also have all those detail. So this one makes one of the shortest. That's called condensed points of the stages of the path, Lamrim. So maybe go one stanza first. Your body is created from a billion perfect factors of goodness. Your speech satisfies the yearning of countless sentient beings. Your mind perceives all objects of knowledge exactly as they are. I bow my head to you, O chief of the Shakya clan. Okay, that. Okay, so now finish this Lamrim teaching. Also the oral transmission I received from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So it's good to, when you practice, as a Buddhist, we also believe in you have to have some kind of lineage connections from our lineage masters. So having the unbroken, pure, like a continuous master's lineage, when you receive that, then it's also you are connecting with this practice. It can also benefit for you in the future when you're practice, then you can able to experience or achieve each of these realizations. The point is the purpose of this study on this practice is to achieve the realizations, so don't contained or I study, I know, right? That's not enough. The purpose of study this is to achieve, not just think, oh, I can accumulate merit only. So merit is good, very, very important, right? The purpose of merits is to achieve the realization. So that's how we should think. Our main goal is we need to achieve, started from Guru devotions, right? The stages of the path. So there's an order. Love will help us to order. How should we do the practice? Buddhism is so big, very profound, huge big. So majority people have struggled. Where should I start the practice, right? And the first beginner, what we're doing through my own experience, practice means to recite some prayers, some deities prayers, some mantras, only these things we are thinking. That's beginner, it's okay. But doing the recite prayers, all of are very good. It's accumulating merits, helping to purifying obstacles, connecting to the deities and gurus and so forth. But this is not the main point. This is called branches, the practice which have branch and the root, right? These are the branches. Important, but these are the branches. So don't feel satisfied, only I did this, that means now that's all. Don't be contained on this. Mainly, doing these things is to achieve the realization. Finally, who will help you liberate oneself from samsara? Nothing else outside there, right? Your internal dharma is the only that can, your main savior is your dharma, your realization. Your dharma can come with you always wherever you go. Even you're born into hell realm, hungry ghosts, it will there, comes with you, right? External things, sometimes they cannot. Best savior is your dharma. So that is why when you're doing this practice, we need to focus on each of these realizations, right? When you're achieving these realization, then your realization will liberate you. So these realization, they have an order. Sometimes go this way, sometimes go there, a little bit here, there. It's not going to work. It's just give you little taste. That's all. But if you really want to achievement, then you have to go step by step. You need to know where should we start it. That's why Lama Tsongkhapa wrote this Lamrim from, Atisha Dibamkara, you bring this system in Tibet. Actually, this system from Buddha to all the way there. But the Buddha's teachings, like for instance, one of the main root texts is the profession of wisdom, right? Panchaparamita Sutra is extensive one, has 12 volumes. And each volume has 400 or 500 pages. Okay, now where should I start these things? It's very, very complicated when you read it, right? Complicated. So where should I start at this? Order need. That's why from Buddha to, listening, come. Finally, Atisha can put it into the text. Simple. What do you call the Lamjitama, the part of what do you call the lamb of the path, or the lamb of the path? Very simple. Then many commentary, the Lama Tsongkhapa very emphasized on that, write it extensive, medium, short versions, right? Why this is for the ordinary like us. Very, very important. We need to know order. We need to go the correct order. If you follow with the incorrect, mistake order, we will stuck there. Then we cannot go up, stuck there. So we need to go authentic the orders. That's why the stages of the path, when they say the stages of the path, right? So that's how we need to know the order they have, that contains the points of the stages of the path. So that's how we should learn that order, and we should apply that practice, order, read what you call meditation, study, practice. So that's how you go, then you can reach the level, where the Lama Tsongkhapa himself achieved it. That's why he said, I myself, I do this, you guys who wants to do, you have to follow that. So he achieved each of these practice through his, how he achieved through these stages of the path. So if you want to liberate that same, then follow with that, right? That is why we need to really try to put effort to achieve the realization, not just simple merit, not just simple visualization, right? Sometimes when we're doing Vajrayana, it's not just simple visualize the deity, recite the mantras and so forth. Sometimes as an ordinary person, even we do not have fully complete bodhicitta, we're still doing Vajrayana practice, myself also doing, but doing the recitation, the mantra, you can meditate on emptiness, you can meditate on bodhicitta, right? Visualization, all of this out of bodhicitta, out of renunciation, out of emptiness. So it's mutually beneficial, right? So that's how we need to know. Another point is really need to achieve the realization. That's why we learn order, the right order, how should we start it? Therefore, this condense the stages of the path, this practice, the teaching which we study today, and you should still study, read, and try to practice this way. And then maybe in this life, maybe, right, you can achieve some kind of this realization. Even renunciation alone achieved it, huge benefit. Just achieve the renunciation. Even just having really proper refuge practice even can help to overcome born into 3 lower realms, right? One of the benefit of refuge practice is overcome 3 lower realms. So even just small things, huge beneficial. So that's why if you not achieve these things, then even you do very high practice, just simple merit, simple seed you planted, right? Not really completely cut it. Cutting, overcoming things, you have to have, realizations. So that's why the need to focus. Then finally, not this next week, our actual retreat will start it, right? In the mountain retreat. So what we learn here, now how should we put it into the practice? How should we meditate on this? That's why we go to the retreat, right? Sometimes some people have struggled. Here, theory or theory, right? It's there. Philosophy is there. But apply the practice. We have a struggle. How can I meditate? How can I use it? Struggle. That's why we go to the retreat to learn. Okay, this, the theory there. Now, how can I apply this theory, not remain as a philosophy, like an academic level? So how can I use this in experiential level, right? That's why the retreats. So therefore, it's only, we have only 5 days retreats. It's one of the very short, the people in there, months and months, they stay the retreats and learning, but at least better than nothing, right? Even some people, even 5 days is still, still too long. They do not have time. Oh my gosh, that's how the world today is. So you have to make a time to yourself. If you take an excuse, everything's become excuse. If you put effort, even you have a busiest life, if you need to take 10 children, you can make available to do the practice, right? But laziness is there. Even just small thing, I cannot do it. When you miss, then it's missed, gone. The 5 days will gone, finished. So that is why, when these opportunities comes, you have to do. Final thing is, so much busy life we have, finally, we have to go, right? Death is certain. We have to leave. So we need to really do some plan for your next life. Just only planning for this life means it's a really, what you call, it's kind of really unfortunate, fortunate persons. Being a Buddhist who believing on next birth, but never plan for next rebirth. Unfortunate. So that is why how busy I am. When the lot of death comes, doesn't matter. Even I'm drinking the tea, I have to leave the tea and go, right? There's no choice. And we do not know when that will be comes. So right now, I can able to think, I've been able to meditate, I can able to travel. And that opportunity, if I don't use it, then one day I may end it up to the bed. Then I can, without the people, I cannot survive. I'm fully dependent on the people, medication. Then it's finished. Finish means when you have a experience in the past, retreat, when you lay down in the bed, you can stay retreat whole day, right? Months and months, you have to stay in the bed, you can still do this retreats practice. You have experience. That is why the retreats are very important to help you how to do the practice. And then finally, we ended up to our own self to have to stay. And then when you have experience, I learned this practice, I myself done, now I can able to stay whole my life as a retreat, either in hospital, a caretaker, wherever. I cannot walk, but this is very good for me to remain retreat because I've experienced this, right? That's why going to the retreats are very important. As a practitioner, we really need to have habit of meditation. Specific Buddhist, if we do not have habit of meditation, realization is impossible. Realization is experienced only through the meditation. Without meditation, we will not achieve any of this realization. Somehow, we have to put effort to familiarize meditation, right? So always try it. that when you do again, eventually it's become very easy. Meditation generally is not easy. It's very difficult. But when you try and make habituation, it can really eventually it's become your habits. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to stop here. Then maybe I can leave few today's the last, so take like a little extra time to what you call the question answer section. Maybe. Okay, I have to keep the. Oh, what is this? Okay, can you unmute yourself or not? Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, may I ask a question, Geshe Pende?
Sure, yes.
In our opening prayers, when we do the prayer from Arya Nagarjuna, the one that begins with "He who taught dependent origination, no cessation and no origination, etc." That prayer, is this prayer speaking of the illusion-like emptiness of post-meditation? Because it opens with that line of "He who taught dependent origination."
Mhm. Yes,
Is
this is all the talking about the emptiness. So the Buddha, he taught about the 8 different types of the emptiness. This is actually praised in the Nagarjuna's text called the Fundamental Wisdom text, the homage verses. And on the top is this. So this is all talking about the empty. It's like a similar, like a Heart Sutra. No eye, no ears, no like that same. So it's got a no cessation, no origination. It's same. It's all talking about the emptiness. It's called the 8 different types of the emptiness.
okay. Thank you.
So any questions?
Yeah, Shalom, if I could ask a couple questions.
Go ahead.
2 questions. I've heard that Buddhas, and they may be related, Buddhas don't see conventional reality. And I've wondered, if Buddhas don't see conventional reality, how are they able to help beings who are still under the control of conventional reality? And then a second question is, what is the relationship between the Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya? Does the Rupakaya emanate from the Dharmakaya? For example, Avalokiteshvara is said to be the compassion of all the Buddhas. I'm wondering, does that compassion emanate or come from the Dharmakaya? Or what is the relationship between those two, the Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya? Thank you.
Okay, now the first. Buddha, of course, Buddha can see the conventional reality. Who says Buddha is not seeing the conventional reality? Two truths, both of two truths, Buddha can, it is saying as ordinary people, we cannot able to see conventional reality when we are on the stage of the emptiness. When you experience emptiness directly, we cannot experience conventional. But the Buddhas can experience both truth spontaneously, nakedly, what you call directly experiencing conventional and ultimate reality spontaneously. So of course, Buddha can experience conventional reality, of course. Second answer is Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya. When you go to in the Sutrayana, sometimes it may have a little bit, complicated to explain the final, to explain a little struggle. But the Vajrayana perspective, so which we're talking about subtle primordial mind and the primordial wind elements, right? Subtle mind and subtle wind. So mind and the wind, which means the kind of energy, the movement, the energy of movement. So mind and the wind elements are the same entity. It's called one coin, which has two faces. So subtle mind and subtle wind element, the mind has function of movement, that's called the wind elements. The mind who has the functions of experiencing, cognizing, that's called the mind, but they're same entities, right? So when we're practicing to cleansing your mind, when you're cleansing your mind, your wind elements also cleansing, right? So finally, when this subtle mind, through the practice, when that primordial mind is completely free from all the defilements, afflictive and cognitive obscuration, both, when they're free from all the defilement, that's transforming into Dharmakaya. It's called Dharmakaya. And that wind element, which is the mind who based on that wind element is transforming into the Rupakaya. So it's kind of same entity. You cannot distinguish from the outside, but they are separate. Like for instance, I will give you an example here. Flower, right? Flower and the shape of the flower. So flower and the shapes, same entity. You cannot take out shape here, put flower here. Flower and flower colors, same entity. You cannot take flower color here, flower. They're same. When I touch the flower, I touch the colors of the flower also. Same entity, but they're separate. Flower is not color, right? Color is not flower. They're two separate, but they're same entity. You cannot distinguish from the object side. Similarly, mind and wind element is like that, same entity. So when the mind is transforming into Dharmakaya, that wind element transforms into the Rupakaya, Buddha's body. The first Rupakaya is very subtle. That's called the Sambhogakaya. And then Sambhogakaya emanate. Sambhogakaya emanate the Nirmanakaya, like a Buddha Shakyamuni, right? Emanation bodies. So that is how what you call the Rupakaya and Dharmakayas. So all of these, the seed, substantial causes, we already have this. We have the subtle mind, we have the subtle wind element. It's there. Right now, this subtle mind is polluted, right? So through the practice, when you clean it up, that subtle mind becoming enlightened mind, Dharmakaya. That mind who ride on the subtle wind element, that wind element is transforming into Rupakaya. So when we talk about the Buddha of compassion, your Dharmakaya becoming Buddha of compassion, mainly what that means, Dharmakaya with the subtle wind element is there, right? With Dharmakaya. So that transforming into the appear as a Rupakaya physical form, and that Buddha of compassion's mind, the Dharmakaya, is that, Dharmakaya. Physical form is come from Rupakaya, which is the subtle wind elements. So all of this coming from the, why they call coming from Dharmakaya means mainly the mind. The mind is the one creating all of them. Any questions? So the unique Vajrayana has a unique practice of Rupakaya practice, which Sutrayana don't have. Vajrayana has called a unique practice of Rupakaya because you're meditating yourself, become a deities, your wind elements transforming into the deities, already this kind of process, which Sutrayana don't have that. So Vajrayana is kind of special. One of the practices have kind of special, unique, the practice, the path to achieve the Rupakaya, enlightened bodies. As a Bodhisattvas, Dharmakaya and Rupakaya, they choose the Rupakaya as the main. The main focus is the Rupakaya, because the main thing is to benefit to other sentient beings. Dharmakaya is cannot directly benefit to others. The enlightened mind, nobody can see, nobody can hear, right? Everything's benefiting is Rupakaya. That's why the Bodhisattvas are seeking Rupakaya, to achieve the Rupakaya. But the Rupakaya have to come with the Dharmakaya. Without Dharmakaya, there's no Rupakaya there. So that's why they practice. Actually, the Rupakaya is the one who directly benefiting to others. Okay, now we're going to give the dedication prayer. Through these merits, may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four of faults, and be delivered from samsara's oceans, controlled by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Samsara and nirvana lack even an atom of true existence, while cause and effect and dependent arising are infallible. I seek your blessings to discern the import of Nagarjuna's thought that these two are complementary and not contradictory. May the precious and sublime Bodhicitta not yet born be born, and that which has been born not decline, but increase forever. In snowy mountain paradise, you are the source of good and happiness, powerful things in Gyatso Genresi. May you stay until samsara ends. Okay, so now we finish these teachings completely. Fortunately, in this time, last year we did not finish yet in only half. So at least in this time, we finished completely. So it's a very good opportunity to us, for me, an opportunity to share this little knowledge with you. And without you, I cannot share. So from that perspective, I have to say thanks to all of you to give me opportunity to share my little knowledge. I received this teaching from my many great masters. And of course, one of the purpose is to share these teachings. At least we need to remain these important teachings, in this world till samsara ends. It's day by day, these teachings are declining. One day it may completely disappears. So it's good to, at least what you learn, what you experience, you share and yourself study and yourself also share with some other friends. Doesn't mean you have to teach them as a teacher. What you learn you're just giving the information to other people with a skillful way. Even little discussion on emptiness or bodhicitta can huge benefit to them and huge benefit to you also. So there are the two things. One, your self-practice. Second thing is what you learn to share to the other people. So sometimes you just holding yourself, oh, this is very secret, and not sharing to other people. And then when you die, it's all gone now. It's lost now. What's the point, right? The purpose of studying and practicing is to achieve Buddhahood for sake of other beings, to make a benefit to other beings. So that is why, anybody, when you see wants to, see some qualify, share those things, and to try to, give opportunity to other people and to listening these things. Sometimes you try to, what you call, make very narrow-minded. Only my teacher, only me and us, not others. These are very self-centered, kind of way of thinking. And this attitude will create your negative karma for you in the future. You will not going to find the proper teacher. So how much benefit to you? You can also share to the other people, give them opportunity to learn, to get this opportunity to study, to get them some involved, kind of give to everybody. Our purpose of this practice is to benefit to all beings. Doesn't matter the background, who they are, right? Doesn't matter. As long as sentient beings, they want to live happy in peace. They also want to achieve Buddhahood. So in order to achieve Buddhahood, they need to always to connecting to the, karma. So that's why your self-study, your share to the other people as much as you can, and whoever, have this, give them to opportunity to learn them, to, opportunity to practice. And that's very important, saying, always, I meditate bodhicitta to sake of all sentient beings, even little things, only me, not you guys. This is my unit. That means you are contradict with what you're practicing, right? That means your practice is not truly bodhicitta. It's not truly compassion. So that's how we should understand. So always be share, discuss. So sometimes we make like only very strict and it's like small, or only us, and blocking to other people. I don't think so. These are good or something. I may thinking this you blocking to other people, that the result you will block with other people in the future. That's how the karma, right? So it's good to, if the person is not qualified, if the person create distraction, to the other people, then of course we have to stop them, right? Otherwise, we just want to learn things, give them opportunities. I think these are important. And finally, as a Sangha members, we all have some kind of our previous life have connection. So that's how we learn. So we have become like a Sangha's brothers and sisters. So it's always to keep good relationship. This is dharma relationship. This is not politics. This is not business. It's the dharma. It's the dharma relationship, which means share the dharma, inspire them, right? Sometimes the people have some external problems, mental problems, things comes. They may be slowly dissipating with the practice, somehow. Then how can we encourage them? How can we bring back them? How can we, stimulate, to them to do the practice? That's how you need to take care all of them. And then finally, sometimes some people may have a physical health issue, this, that. Dharma brother, sister, maybe sometimes, help them to take care. Like these are very, very important. And having good relationship with each other, and that brings called unity, harmony. And that karma, why I'm saying is, it's not only in this life. As practitioners, to progress in your practice, it's not only teacher. Like myself, learned so much dharma with my classmates, with the monks, debate. Most of the time I learn with the students, ourselves, students. Teacher just give you 1 hour class, but mainly I learn with them. So to improve your dharma, you need to have sanghas, dharma, sangha. That helps to grow the dharma, environment, inspire you. Teacher, you only see during the teachings, right? You cannot share everything. The sanghas you can share, they know everything. So when you have very good relationship, that inspire. So you do these things in your next life, you're born into the realms, in the environment, who can inspire you for dharma. You're born into the dharma environments. That's why it helps when you stop to other people like these things, that result, maybe future you born into the place which do not have any dharmas, right? That's how it's happened. So therefore you should, do this way for the other person benefit, for you also in the future, for your next, I inspire these people. Now these people become very good practitioner. So all of this First, you are the one who bring into these realms, right? You're beneficial. All this karma happen to you. Future, when you're born in the place, there's somebody there will bring you into the karma environments. You already have that karma. So that's how we should think and take care to each others. Okay, thank you very much. And finally, the retreat in over there is three principle, right? Three principal aspect of the path. So that's why this Lamrim Chemo, when you put it into condensed, renunciation, bodhicitta, and wisdom of emptiness, right? That's why over there, when we're doing the retreat, everybody should be first prepared to read the three principal aspect of the practice, the text, root text, and then commentaries around here to make familiar. And then during the retreat, we will meditate on these three principal aspect of the paths. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe-la.
Thank you. Good night.